Hello everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Night Chats with Chris and Gini and Gizmo. He's going to be educating tonight in case, or help Chris out in case he forgets.
I'm taking the night off, so Doggy's in charge tonight.
Yeah, so tonight what we're going to be talking about due to all agencies in the holiday season is how to correctly file your CA1 and CA2s, how to get a CA17, and what a CA16 is and how it helps you pay your medical bills. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Gizmo. He wants Daddy to talk.
Go ahead.
Talk, Gizmo. Say hi to everybody.
Go ahead. Okay. The other thing we're going to talk about is what not to do during the holiday season. So many of you, like especially postal employees who are working overtime, Sundays and everything to get packages delivered, and thank you for that. You're working so much that you're thinking, well, I don't have time to report my injury. But tonight I'm going to talk about why you can't afford to wait. So if you do wait, that could be a problem for you. So we'll talk about that because you have deadlines, and these deadlines matter. So anyways, yeah, we'll talk about that tonight. So we're going to start doing something new each week to introduce new people to who we are and what we're doing. So if you're new, welcome. If you've been with us for a while, thanks for coming back. Ron, Tammy, hi. All right, so like she said, we're Chris and Gini with Federal Injury Centers. This is Wednesday night OWCP Chats. The purpose of this page is to educate federal employees on your rights, responsibilities, the rules, laws, and regulations for OWCP federal workers' comp injuries.
Yep.
What happens is you guys get hurt and you don't know what to do, so you lose all your benefits. And when you lose all your benefits, it makes it awfully hard to get better and make it all the way to retirement. So we're here educating you on what you do if and when you're hurt. This is a free training. We do it every week, with the exception of the last couple of weeks. Hey, JJ. There's Jerry, too. We're on vacation, so you didn't see us the last 2 weeks. But this is what we do every other week when we're not on vacation. One thing that happens all the time is someone will ask us, what office can I go to? Or do you have an office in this area? Or so on and so forth. You should know we're not a referral service. This is not a place that you go to get referred to a certain doctor. We are Federal Injury Centers. We're a franchise. We teach doctors nationwide to help you when you're hurt at work. So yeah, we do know doctors, but this is not a referral service. If you want to know where our doctors are located, you can go to federalinjurycenters.com, and they're all listed there at the bottom of the homepage. If you want to find a doctor that's not a Federal Injury Centers doctor, you can do that as well. Just go to Google and search OWCP Injury Doctor in your city and state, and then you should be able to find any doctor in your area that wants to help you. So that's how you find a doctor, and that's going to go, like every week I'm going to tell people that, because we get all the time, like, how do I find a doctor? So that's the number one way, is go to Google, because the doctors are all there. If you want to come to any of our doctors, you can. Just go to federalinjurycenters.com and take a look at the locations, and you're welcome to go there. But the choice of doctor by law is yours, and we respect that, and we encourage it. So you choose who you want. Just choose wisely. As many of you know, if you make the wrong choice of doctor, you're probably going to have your claim denied. And so if you're going to, choose doctors, fast and loose, then pay attention to us, because we'll be able to show you how to help your doctor who you chose get your claim accepted. So that's hopefully why you're here. We'd like you to share this with your friends and your coworkers and your friends who are your coworkers. Let people know. So right now, just hit the share button at the bottom of the page. Share, share, share. Let other people know this is happening, and it's happening every week. While I'm at it, excuse me. So we were just in Utah.
Yeah.
It's cold there, and it's like 10,000 feet up in Park City where we were, and so there's been an adjustment. You'll hear me coughing and sniffing and stuff. It's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
It's just a cough
just
with
a
the
change.
temperature.
Remember when we used to be able to get the common cold and
the flu?
Nobody gets flu anymore. No. We all get COVID. Oh, your leg broke? That's COVID. Anyway, so the other thing is breaking OWCP. Many of you, hundreds of you, nearly 1,000, have gotten my book already.
Yes.
And so we're grateful for that. I've still got quite a few more available before I need to reprint. So you can go to breakingowcp.com, www.breakingowcp.com. If you want to get a copy of my book, it's $14.95, free shipping. You'll be glad to know, while we were on vacation, I finished editing book 2.
Yes,
and it's already at the printer. So I expect to have the first 500 copies printed by next week. And as soon as I do, I'll list it on the website, Breaking OWCP, and you'll be able to have access to that as well. It's got a lot of cool stuff in there that the first one didn't have. My favorite chapter in the new book is the chapter on schedule awards, where I actually give you a worksheet so you can determine your own schedule award amount.
Yep.
People are like, how do I determine what my schedule award is? So I give you the step-by-step on how to do that yourself. That's going to be really helpful for you, when you get to the point in your, when you hit MMI and you get a schedule award. So if you get the book for nothing else, you're definitely going to want it for that. But the subtitle to the new book is called You Are Not Alone. And that's because you're not. And many of you still feel like you're on an island by yourself when you get hurt. And so I tell some stories of other people in the past that were injured and the mistakes they made and how you can avoid those mistakes yourself. So it's a really nice book. It's got everything in it that the first one didn't. So it's volume 2. And I'm looking forward to being able to offer that to you, and hopefully that'll help you avoid a lot of the disasters and horror stories that other people before you experience.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm not reading anyone's comments. I'm just trying to share. Love the title. Yes, title. We thought about what we were going to say.
That title just kind of, it's like the first book sort of just completely came from my heart. I wrote it in 3 days, as many of you know. It took 28 hours and 3 days to write a book, have it published, and get it printed. This one took considerably longer, but during this period of time that I started writing the second book, we were also franchising and trying to give you new doctors around the country. We want to put a doctor within range of every injured federal employee.
Yep.
So that took a lot of effort. It's taking a lot of effort, and we're making really good progress on that, progress that I think you're all going to be very proud of at some point when we have an office within range of every one of you.
They're coming, guys. They're coming, and they're coming slowly.
We think we're going to double in the next month to 6 weeks, though.
By the end of next year, we're hoping for some really positive things, and the help is for you guys.
Yeah.
So we hear your complaints and everything that you guys have been asking us, and this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, we solve all your problems. Speaking of solving problems, at my website, breakingowcp.com, there's a free forms tab. And so I want you to go to that. I've made some forms that will help you with reporting an injury, writing a statement, getting a CA-16, documentation so you can get paid. So definitely go take a look at that. There's a 5th one too. I always forget. But anyways, go take a look at the free downloads tab and download all of those forms for free, every single one of them. Make as many copies as you want. Give them to as many people as you want. It's there to assist you so you don't keep having the same problems other people have had.
Yeah. So again, before we start the 4 things we're going to go over, understand that this topic tonight is really important, as you guys are. We were hearing it. We talked to somebody yesterday that he said he was working 14 hours, and I was like, oh, just today. And he goes, no, all week.
Every day.
And we know some of the post offices are opening up on Sundays now just to get the rush out. So be careful. But we're so thankful to all of our USPS employees and friends, and everybody at AFGE. TSA is going to start ramping up, and
people are flying again.
Flying.
Yeah.
We've
been flying.
We've been flying, and we've been fine.
Our planes are full. They're filling them up.
Yeah. So, all right. So, hold on to your questions just in case Chris goes over them. So we're going to talk about how to file and ask for a CA1 and CA2. Also, you're going to need a CA17, and a lot of you never know what a CA16 is. So sit down, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and start writing down your notes. You guys don't wait. I know Chris is going to bring this up. Don't wait till after the holidays to file your claim. Just do it if you can. At least it's in.
Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
that's exactly how I was going to start. So every year, it never fails, we have countless, just tons of people who come to us after the holidays, after New Year's,
Yeah.
and they say, okay, I got hurt in December during, working overtime and so forth, and what do I do now? I need to report this injury. So you can do that. You can definitely do it. You can wait 3 years to report an injury. People don't understand that. They think, well, I have 3 days or 3 weeks or whatever. You have 3 years to report your injury and still get help. The problem with waiting till after the holiday season to report your injury is that you have critical deadlines that you're going to miss. If you wait more than 7 days to report a CA1 injury, an injury that happens in a single shift, which is going to happen to many of you, especially you letter carriers out there that are carrying these heavy packages, and clerks who are taking them over the counter and moving them.
It goes for everybody, even the mail handlers,
the rural carriers, everybody.
Yeah.
So you're going to be handling a high volume of packages, irregular size packages, heavyweight packages, and more than you're used to year round. And so what's going to happen is many of you are going to get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt. We're not here hoping you get hurt so that you can be patients at our offices. Not at all. In fact, we want you to not get hurt. But inevitably you will. As I'm not God, I can't control it, and your job is going to be hard over the next 30 days. But people will wait and they'll say, well, I need the overtime. All right, well, get your overtime. That's fine. If you can work through the pain, that's wonderful. And I actually encourage you to go to work. The surest way to get paid is to clock in. So if you're clocking in, you don't have to jump through hoops to get paid. With that said, if you wait more than 7 days, you're not eligible for what's called a CA16. It's a form that when you have it, it pays all your medical bills for the first 60 days, even when your claim's not approved. If your claim never gets approved, you don't have to pay this money back. So you got to get a CA16, but if you wait 8 days to report an injury, you can't have one by rule. You're just never going to get it. As long as you report in under a week, your supervisor has 4 hours to give it to you from when you report. So get the CA16. It'll pay all of your medical bills related to the injury for the first 60 days. So critical, because if you don't have that, you're making health decisions based on your own personal finances. And we want you to avoid using your own money to get help for a work injury. So the way to avoid that is to get a CA16.
Okay, so...
Hold on, there's one more thing. So the other thing that happens, if you wait 30 days, you also can't have continuation of pay. COP pays you up to 45 days of time off after a work injury if you have a CA1 claim. But if you wait more than 30 days, you can't have COP either. So if you waited more than 30 days to report, you don't get a CA16 that pays all your medical bills, and you don't get COP, which gives you 6 weeks of total time off. That's huge, okay? So during this period of time, you don't have to make health decisions based on, well, I'm not getting paid at work because I'm not clocked in, or I don't have the money in my checking account to pay these, deductibles and copays and stuff. So I said all that to impress upon you that if you get hurt, report today, right away. It doesn't mean you have to be off of work. People think, well, if I have a work injury, I have to be off. No, you don't. You can have a work injury where you go to work every single day. You can have a work injury where you never have restrictions, okay? Restrictions are part of the medical decision-making by your doctor. You may not need any. I don't know whether you will or won't. But I know for sure that if you wait to report, you're going to lose valuable benefits, and you can't do that to yourself. So go ahead and report right away, and if you can keep working, more power to you. Please do, because the surest way to get paid is to clock in.
Yep. There's a few questions here that I'm going to answer real quick, but I know Chris is going to go over them, so before it gets lost in the thread here.
Yeah, hit me.
All right, Deborah Brooks says, why does it take 30 days before they open my case to make a decision if I'm approved for workman's comp or not?
Well, so it doesn't take 30 days. If it took you 30 days, that's wonderful. But they don't have any time frames with which to make decisions, so they don't have to decide in 30 days. It could be 60 or 90. If you call a claims examiner, they're going to tell you pick a number, X number of days, but they won't be able to cite the rules in writing because those don't exist. It could take much longer. Yep. The best thing you can do for yourself is report right away and don't be part of the delay.
Melissa, hey Melissa. She said, and also Tammy Hill is asking the same question as Melissa, is there a way to get OWCP to approve a surgery quicker if the claimant is getting worse while waiting the process and could end up with permanent damage due to putting surgery off?
All right, so that's a great question, but check it out. If you have a CA1 claim, an injury that happens in a single shift, and you need surgery right away, if you get a CA16 form, it covers your surgery. You don't have to wait. It will pay for emergency surgery that the doctor says is medically necessary. So take me, for example, okay? I blew out my ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, on both knees. In both of them, the ligaments exploded. They didn't just tear. Well, that's kind of an emergency. Had I had a CA16, and it wasn't work-related, but if I did, I could have had my surgery right away, paid for by OWCP, even when the claim's not accepted. So that's one thing that's critical. Get a CA16, like I said in the beginning. But, if you're past that, you need surgery, OWCP will approve surgery within like 72 hours if your claim is approved and if the right diagnosis is attached to the approved condition. So if the approved condition is a sprain or a strain, you're never getting surgery ever, no matter what. It's never happening. However, if you've got imaging that shows you've got a herniated disc or you've got torn ligaments or whatever, well, that's different. But now you've got to get that new diagnosis attached to the existing claim. And once that new diagnosis is approved, they'll almost automatically approve surgery. You don't have to wait. People with approved conditions that are the correct diagnosis, they don't wait to get surgery. It's almost completely automatic, the approval process.
All right. Joy DiSordo said, 2 years I've been looking for a doctor of record after my doctor of 15 years retired. No one is willing to deal with OWCP. What's a person to do? My condition continues to worsen.
Okay, so like I said in the beginning, and if many of you are just jumping on, thanks for being here. This is not a referral service. We're not here to refer doctors to you. With that said, we do have doctors. If you are interested in going to our doctors, all you need to do is call. You go to federalinjurycenters.com and look up the doctor that's closest to your area. Right now, we only have 7 locations, but in like no time, in a blink of an eye, we're going to have more than 20 locations because we've been doing our work. So you keep coming back and looking. You can also go to Google and search OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. That's your Google search, OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. So we're in Clearwater, Florida. I would say OWCP injury doctor, Clearwater, Florida. And then that's a massive, long, search. Nobody searches more than 2 or 3 words. We search a lot to make sure we include everybody. So that's how you find a doctor that will help you.
Yeah, if you go on there and it doesn't say Federal Injury Centers, it's not us.
Yeah,
so
and that's okay. Actually,
it's okay. Yeah.
There are other doctors, albeit very few, that are not Federal Injury Centers doctors that are trained in this. If you can find any of them, I recommend going to them because they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But again, we're not a referral service. If you ask me where my locations are, I'll refer you to my website and you can see for yourself. But we really appreciate that you have the right to choose doctors, and we want you to do that.
Okay, so Mary Evans. So the doctor in Rockville, the doctor in Indiana, Chicago, Wisconsin, Arizona, Houston, all of those doctors that Chris has trained, we are not affiliated with them. And moving forward, like Chris said, we can't refer.
Yeah, we're
going to tell you, why don't you just Google Rockville, Maryland? If there's a doctor that comes up and it says Federal Injury Centers, well, then that's one of ours. But right now we don't. And if it doesn't say that, then you're just going to have to make the call and see if they accept state workers' comp. Make sure you guys say that.
That's right.
Tressa Hartwell said, I was injured
Not state, federal workers' comp. I can't. She said state. She meant federal.
I'm saying you're not state work comp.
It's not. It's
so
federal.
Make sure you know. Like the girls will say, we take state workers' comp. Well, you have to say, well, I am a federal employee.
Yeah.
All right. So Tressa Hartwell says, I was injured at work after my supervisor physically attacked my claim was accepted by the department.
So the supervisor physically attacked this person, and the claim was accepted.
Then I received a letter of removal afterwards. What can I do about this? Please help.
All right, so I don't know if you're one of the people that have gotten my book, but I think you should because I definitely talk about this. Not a supervisor physically attacking you, but what I talk about in the book definitely applies to your situation. So you file a grievance, clearly. I hope you're involved with your union. In the second book, I go into great detail as to why you should get involved with your union. And many of you right now are rolling your eyes and whatever. I'm not judging one way or the other. But I know that the union people that we know, that we're friends with, that we're close with, are powerful people that I would definitely want to help you. So get involved there. But the other thing is you can file an EEO claim, or you can file OSHA, an OSHA complaint, by calling 1-800-321-OSHA. You could ask OSHA, is it a safety violation for my supervisor to physically attack me?
I'm sure the answer is yes.
It sounds like it's a yes. If you do things like that, then you'll have other agencies, like outside agencies, that are helping you. So go with that.
Yeah. Deborah says, okay, I've been keeping up with all my paperwork, filed my CA1, and they paid me COP for 45 days. But I'm told now I've got to go on LWOP or my leave to make sure I get paid.
Yeah, well, after your claim's accepted, COP goes away anyways. So if you get your claim accepted in like record time, you don't get 45 days of COP. It's over. At that point, you get a CA7, a claim for compensation, and probably a CA7A, which is a time analysis form. And you start keeping track of your time away from work, and that's leave without pay, because you left without pay, and you want to get paid for it. So you use LWOP, and you turn that in with the required documentation, and wait to get paid.
Okay.
They want you to turn those in every pay period too, so every 2 weeks.
All right, Madeline says, I was denied my claim even though I was hurt on the job and had surgery. I'm thinking the narrative the doctor gave wasn't sufficient. What can I do?
I'm thinking that's definitely the case. 100%. All right, so check it out. There's 3 things here that I'm going to highlight. Every timely filed claim, so it was filed within the necessary 3-year period of time. Every timely filed, every legitimate claim, meaning it's an actual work injury, every timely filed legitimate claim should be approved if the doctor writes a good narrative. If the doctor writes a bad narrative, that's the reason for the denial. And that's why we train doctors for a living, because we know doctors write terrible narratives. Our doctors write beautiful narratives, and we have acceptance rates of greater than 95% nationwide, which compares to you like 1 out of 7 federal employees has an accepted claim that are hurt, 1 out of 7 injured people. And for us, it's like 6.5 out of 7 or more.
I mean, just to touch on that, if USPS or, some AFGE, they think it was, would you say 1 out of 7?
Yeah, 1 out of 7 hurt people.
What was the Bureau of Prison the guy was telling you?
So they're like, look, there's a lot of funny numbers. Give or take, roughly 1 out of 20-something of those people have accepted claims.
We when we were educating AFGE and all the agencies within it, we heard some numbers about people's claim not getting accepted. It was like 1 out of 38.
Well, if you just take all the agencies,
so you're not alone.
All the agencies that make up AFGE, I think it was something like 1 out of 13 people overall had an accepted claim. It's a bad deal. We're about 12.5 out of 13.
Yeah.
Which is why people are looking for us. But, go to federalinjurycenters.com and you can look and see where our locations are.
Talisha Locklear said, my claim got accepted, now having trouble getting them to approve physical therapy.
Really?
Physical therapy sent paperwork in probably 5 times, by the way. Love the book. Waiting on the next one.
Well, thanks for that. The next one's coming soon. Getting approved for physical therapy is really funny to me. I'm not sure why that happens. If your claim is accepted, you should get physical therapy. It sounds to me like your physical therapist or your doctor doesn't know how to request authorization. They're welcome to call us. Like I said, we work with doctors and we train therapy offices for a living. I'm happy to help them get your therapy approved. Tell them to give me a call.
Yeah, again, if any of those doctors are good doctors and you guys want them to be your federal doctor, have them call me. You guys get my cell phone number and have them call me or send me an email. We'll talk to them. Maybe they could be your city's new DOL doctor.
Yeah, any doctor that you like but doesn't know how to get your therapy approved needs my help. I'd be more than happy to help them.
All right, Natalia Sanders. Hurt hand in work in September, not out of work more than 1 day.
Good.
Received a bill for this work comp injury, and the doctor wants me to provide my insurance information. According to the doctor's office that I visited, my company has not reported my injury to HR. They evidently looked in the system and don't see a claim number assigned to this injury. They, the doctor's office, are asking me to obtain a claim number for them and give them my insurance information. I'm not providing this information nor paying this bill. My plan is to get involved and simply present the bill to my supervisor, letting them know what I've been told by the doctor's office. Is my plan what you would advise?
No.
Is there anything else I need to do? I want to protect myself.
Okay.
Great question.
So I knew the answer to this question after the first line.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. You reported your injury. I'm going to make some assumptions. If I'm wrong, the message will still be clear.
Take note here.
It sounds like you reported your injury to your supervisor, and your supervisor didn't send in the documentation to Department of Labor. The supervisor has 10 days from the date you sign your notice of receipt on the CA1 or CA2 to get that into Department of Labor, to OWCP. If they didn't turn that in within the required 10 days, you should file a grievance because they definitely violated law because they have 10 days. That's in the code of federal regulations. And then get it sent in, okay? So make sure, I hope you got a copy of it. If not, you'll have to refill it out. But the supervisor has violated the rules if they didn't turn it in within 10 days, 10 work days of the reported injury. Once you do that, it only takes a little bit of time, probably up to 2 weeks, for a claims examiner to assign a 9-digit case number, which you'd be able to give to the doctor. But that doesn't mean your claim's approved. If it's not approved, the doctor is not getting paid even with the claim number. It's irrelevant. So the doctor still has to do a good job writing a narrative report to get your claim approved.
Yeah.
But go to your supervisor and find out when it was sent in. The other thing you can do, write this down, is go to Google and search OWCP district offices. OWCP district offices. What's going to do is going to give you a link you can click that'll have a United States map. You click on your state and it'll give you the district office. You can call yourself and find out if they ever received your CA1 or CA2 so they could open your claim. And if you have more questions about that, please give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help. 877-787-6927.
All right, Cheryl Bruce Brown said, I had an ankle injury in May and been home on work comp since. Had a plate and 6 screws put in my ankle. Not the same.
Is there a question there?
No.
Oh, because, all right, so that's 8 months ago, by the way. And can you just read it one more time?
I had an ankle surgery in
May and been home on workers' comp since. Had a plate and 6 screws put in my ankle. Yeah, so that's a long time to be off of work. What I will say to you is be sure you have a CA-17 on file from your doctor with your supervisor. And if your claim's not accepted, if you're taking sick and annual leave, you can use Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA, to protect your job.
Yep.
When people are off of work a long time, their jobs are not always protected. So that's how you do that.
So I just wanted to, I know I'm looking at the numbers of the live. It's not 53, it's more because when I share it to other websites, it comes on. But because you guys are working overtime shifts till 9 p.m., please make sure that your friends get to see this, I was going to say episode, yeah, season 4, episode 17.
Maybe there's more than that.
Yeah, make sure they see this so they can get themselves all taken care of if they have any injuries during this
Yeah,
season.
really important. Like, you're going to see somebody limping around or having a hard time
Help
picking up
them out.
boxes and stuff like that.
Ask.
It's a good idea to go to people and say, hey, did you get hurt at work? Hurry up and report so you don't lose your benefits.
Yeah. Lily, my brother's name is Lee, and I say that to him too. I have FMLA for 4 years for my back, and the pain is due to my job. Can I file a CA2 while being on FMLA?
So the answer is yes.
We're going to go into CA2s now.
Yeah, so let me just handle this. The answer is yes, you can. You have, everybody follow me on this one. This may be for you CA2 injury people, the most important thing I say tonight. A CA2 claim is something that happened over 2 or more shifts. It didn't happen in a single shift. There wasn't a sprained ankle, a twisted knee, a herniated disc from picking up a single package. This happened over time. Like a letter carrier walking 10 miles a day for 20 years, that it develops. Or a nurse who's been lifting patients at the VA for a number of years. It develops over time. If you have a CA2 condition, something that developed over time, you have, and this is really important, you have 3 years from the date you knew this was work-related. So people ask me all the time with a CA2 condition, what's my date of injury? And I can't give you that. I'm not a doctor. But what I can tell you, that the date you knew that it was work-related must be within 3 years, okay? If you're inside 3 years, you can still report your injury and still get help.
Yep. All right.
So obviously some people say, oh, I just realized it today. I can't answer to that either way. But I'm telling you, you have 3 years from the date you knew it was work-related to report a CA2 condition.
All right, Deborah Brooks said, the lady from OWCP said if I want to pay for my surgery on my torn rotator cuff, then I had to wait till 30 days. They had to make a decision on my claim. Right now I'm using my insurance for my doctor's bills and physical therapies and my specialist that plans on doing the surgery. Marie Knowles said, still waiting on my reconsideration, waited 6 weeks to get denied for a cause.
Yeah.
Cindy Allison said, my district told me not to submit CA7s until my claim was accepted.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is true.
So what I'll tell you is that's 100% correct. But start filling out your CA7s right away, because if you wait until months down the line or whatever, however long it takes, then you're going to go back and fill these forms out and feel overwhelmed, and then you won't do it correctly, and you'll lose money, and you'll leave money on the table. So that goes for the OWCP 915 forms for medical reimbursement of money you spent. It goes for 957 forms for mileage and travel. Start filling all this stuff out right away, and don't wait till months later when it's overwhelming and you don't want to do the work.
She also said, I've also been told that I can return with a modified assignment. No management will speak, email, etc. I'm seeing the doctors in Clearwater now. Nice.
Yeah, that's good. For people that are in that situation, your unions can help, and I recommend dealing with your union and asking, for help from them.
Okay. Ruth Crandall said, how long can you work comp take to approve expansion on my CA1?
It takes as long as it takes. They don't have any time frames, and so you want to call your claims examiner as often as you feel comfortable, asking what's the status.
Marie Knowles says, post office refuses to give me light duty until workers' comp is approved.
They can do that. Unfortunately, I hate that, but I still recommend getting with your union and asking for help, using FMLA so you can protect your job, and giving your doctor a swift kick in the butt as often as it takes to get that narrative report done. And then call your claims examiner every day if that's what it takes.
Madeline Colvin said, what can you do about a bad narrative? Can you appeal a denied claim?
Yeah, great question. So every denial comes with a form that's called an appeal request form. And that form has multiple different options. All but one are bad options. So you choose reconsideration. And when you elect reconsideration, your doctor has 1 year to provide new information. If you let your doctor wait a year, you and I have a conversation that needs to take place soon, because we don't wait a year, but you have a year. And then your doctor can use new information. The new information is a narrative report that is derived from looking at the denial on the denial letter. So every time you get a denial, do a reconsideration. You have 12 months from every denial date to reconsider. And your doctor's new information as a result of the denied report is what they use to overturn the denial.
All right, Mr. Bailey said hi from Akron, Ohio.
Hey.
Tish said, you guys are awesome.
You are.
You're awesome, Tish. I knew you were going to say that. Steve Amron, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. Steve-O. What can I do if I go to the ER for a traumatic injury, have a CA16, but the ER isn't sure how to get paid, and ask for insurance information? Then I get a bill. Should it be sent to OWCP? Should be paid even if the case isn't open. So would OWCP pay it either way if I send it in?
Yeah, but, okay, so the short answer is yes. But you could pay it and then request reimbursement on a 915 form, but you have a CA16. The ER billing department should just send that in with your documentation, your bill. That's how you get paid. So tell them to call OWCP and ask how to use a CA16 to get paid. It's not your problem, it's their problem. You can give them a little tip and tell them, hey, I have some advice. Call OWCP and ask how to use this CA16 to get paid.
Yeah.
It shouldn't ever come out of your pocket. That's what that form's all about. It's so you don't pay out of your pocket.
Cheryl said, do I have to file for FMLA while we're on work comp? I've had problems getting paid by OWCP.
You have to file FMLA if you're concerned about protecting your job, if your claim's not approved, or if you can't get a CA-17, which would be a violation of rules anyways. But if your claim's approved, you don't need FMLA because you should be paid for your time off that is medically necessary as determined by your doctor. If your claim's not approved, then yes, use FMLA to protect your job. You have 120 days a year, so like 4 months a year. But this is what I said in my second book. If you take FMLA, plus you had COP, then you've got 5.5 months of time off. And I don't want you to need that. I hope to God that you get better and back to work way earlier than that. But if you report on time, you have the opportunity to use COP and FMLA, which more than protects your job for half the year.
Yeah. Can you appeal a denied claim by Madeline?
Yeah. Use reconsideration on the appeal request form. And for more information on that, by the way, I go into great detail in the book on how to handle denials in the first book. And I talk about reconsiderations at length in there.
Yeah. All right. Marianne Prater. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Marianne.
Hey, guys. How are you doing? Question. I have an injury to my hands, which I filed a couple years ago. OWCP denied it. So I didn't push it because I didn't know I could. Not until I started listening to you guys. I've been having pain. Now they've gotten worse. Trigger finger is locking up much more, as well as I'm in so much pain till I drive with my fingertips. The doctor said it was due to work-related. Question. Do I need to do another claim? The doctor said we will fill it under workers' comp.
Fine.
Now I need a minor surgery again.
Should it be on another claim? Really just depends on consultation with your doctor. If it's a new injury not related to the existing claim, then yeah, you do a new one. If it needs to be added to the existing claim, then you can do a diagnosis expansion, and the doctor knows how to do it. Your doctor definitely knows how to do it, Marianne. But that's what you do. If you need to have a new injury added, you determine, is it a new condition that goes in a separate claim, or does it need to be added to the existing claim?
Okay. So I don't know why and how all these other doctors are hopping on our live and promoting your offices. If you're not a Federal Injury Center's office, unfortunately, you can't be promoting your clinic on our Wednesday night feed.
Now, with that said, you're talking about Nick, right?
No, there's another,
Yeah, I don't know that person. But Nick is somebody, Kampfer is somebody that I train. He's a great guy. He's in Racine, Wisconsin. You can trust him and Dr. Say for sure. They know what they're doing. These other doctors, I'm not really sure who they are.
Yeah.
So just FYI, I don't know everyone that pops on here.
Block. I know. I got them off. Thank you, Marianne. Let's see.
But Nick's a good guy. So if you saw Nick on there, that dude knows how to get a claim accepted. And
That's a doctor.
And I know and trust him.
That's a doctor that Chris trained in
Racine, Wisconsin.
Racine with Dr. Say. Oh, no, not you, Nick.
No, Nick, you're good.
Yeah.
I know you. I can vouch for your work.
Celeste, how do I get a copy of my denial letter?
Call your claims examiner. Sorry, doggy needs to go outside. She's going to let him out. Or we're going to have a mess. Yeah, so to get a copy of your denial letter, it's simple. You call your claims examiner and tell them you don't have it and you need a copy. They'll either email it, fax it, or mail it to you. But you're probably fine. You have 12 months from every denial to reconsider, so don't panic. I'm sure you haven't missed your deadline. Just go ahead and call and request a copy of that denial letter. So, Marianne, that's funny. Again, Nick, you don't need to be sorry. You're good.
It wasn't for you, Nick.
So this person, Joe, said, just want to offer a little advice. People can extend their AI and sick leave by using LWOP every pay period to cover expenses taken for your paychecks. Yeah, so to use LWOP, you have to fill out a CA7 and potentially a 7A, and with an accepted claim, that works.
Now, those of you doctors that are on here are not a part of Federal Injury Centers. If you do want to join our franchise, contact me by email, and I put it, somebody else asked for my email to give it to a doctor. It is Gini, Gini, at Federal Injury Centers. When I call, I don't have much information, but I will get you set up to speak to the president of the company and get you on a 30-minute webinar.
Who's that?
Of what?
The president of the company.
I think this guy. So you'll be talking to Chris, and
I may not look like much, but I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So give me a call.
And patients need the help. So if you want to become a part of our franchise, we'd love to bring you on.
And by the way, Nick and Dr. Say, you're welcome to join as well. In fact, I invited you twice, just so you know. So I invited those guys twice. And if you want them in Wisconsin to be part of Federal Injury Centers, give us a bunch of like buttons or something. Tish. All right, go ahead.
Deborah Brooks said, do we have a Fed Comp doctor in North Carolina area? Right now we don't.
So we don't.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. We've got 3 potential offices coming up in the next 12 months in North Carolina.
But
look at all those like buttons.
Yeah, I know.
They really want those guys to join Federal Injury Centers.
Yes. Listen, any of the doctors on here, if you don't join Federal Injury Centers, it's a sad day. You should. So, I mean, and then that way you can come on here and tell the people all about your clinics.
Nick, come on. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we went over the CA1, the CA2,
16.
CA16, and the 17. So this is dedicated to all those federal workers nationwide, even Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, because we've been getting a lot.
Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands.
Get these taken care of. Don't wait till Christmas is over, because I know you guys go till sometimes February with return of packages, and I know the clerks. Just get it in, take half an hour, fill out your stuff, and just send it off. And then if you want to wait to go see the doctor, you wait.
Yep.
But get it in.
But file your claims early enough that you don't lose your benefits.
Marianne said, I'm going to work on getting the doctor to work with you.
Thanks, Marianne.
Okay, so, Marianne, I know you're in Florida, so we're not putting any more Florida clinics. We have a few coming within the next year.
Yeah.
So, if it's in Florida...
Florida's going to be all set.
Yeah. If it's somewhere else, you're welcome to give me the phone number.
Yeah.
And anybody have any other questions regarding season injuries and the correct way to fill out CA1s or CA2s, or when to fill it out, or get your CA17s? Oh, here's something. There will be times that the supervisor refuses to fill out side A of your CA17. What do they do?
Yeah, so when that happens, I don't like to cause unnecessary problems between you and management. Okay, you have enough. You know that already. However, if your supervisor refuses to give you a CA17 or refuses to fill out Side A, somebody down the line, like a claims examiner or a nurse case manager or a doctor, is going to ask you, why didn't you get Side A filled out? It says supervisor is Side A. And your answer, truthfully, is going to be because they refused. What are you going to do about that? You're going to take a black Sharpie and you're going to write supervisor refused.
Yes.
In Side A. It's not an attempt to cause trouble with management. We don't like that. It's an attempt to tell the truth. Because somebody's going to ask you, where the heck did you get this 17? It's supposed to come from management. You got to do what you got to do to protect yourself. So just write in there that management refused. You can write the supervisor's name if you feel comfortable. And that way a claims examiner knows why you didn't get Side A filled out. But Side B is still filled out by the doctor, and they can still write the restrictions that they want you to have.
Yeah.
Which is part of your medical plan.
Always keep a CA10 on you, and if you guys don't have one in your break rooms, any of the agencies, put one there so people at least can figure out what to do when they get injured. The CA10 is important.
And where can you find these forms? We're kind of wrapping up here, so let me just tell you. You can go to federalinjurycenters.com, because we are Federal Injury Centers. And federalinjurycenters.com has a forms tab. It's called OWCP Forms. And you can click on that and download all the forms that you need. Everything is there. The reason we do that is because sometimes if you go to OWCP's website, the forms are not printable. Like they have some error. at our website, nobody's ever complained they couldn't print the form. So we update ours occasionally, and so you can print from there. You can also download our app. You can go to your app store and get the Federal Injury Centers app. That's what you search for, Federal Injury Centers. And in the app, just like the website, you can find locations for our offices. You can find forms. You get helpful rules, laws, and regulations that if you're in front of your supervisor and they say something that's not true, or they just do something that can hurt you, you can say, yeah, but what about this rule? You can also go to my Twitter page. The Twitter is at the @ Fed Injury Center, at Fed Injury Center. And there you'll get helpful rules, laws, and regulations too. I used to say that I'm not going to waste your time at the Federal Injury Center's Twitter page. But that's before I realized that only 834 people were going to, out of 2.8 million, were going to sign up. And so because there's only so few of you there, I'm going to go ahead and totally waste your time. I'm going to start posting jokes and funny pictures and memes and those things. So if you're wondering what we're looking at, Gizmo likes to dig, and he's digging under the Christmas tree. And believe me, there's only cement under there. So we're not going to let him do that. No. Anyways, go to Twitter, at Fed Injury Center. You can, for free, you can get rules, laws, and regulations that'll help you. Download our free app, Federal Injury Centers, the app, and you'll get all that as well. And then if you get the book, Breaking OWCP, with that handsome guy on the cover.
I don't know who that guy is, but when I find him, let me know.
You can you'll get a lot of rules, laws, and regulations, and a lot of helpful tips. And then the second book is going to be better than the first one. For those of you that got the first one already and you feel like, gosh, you should have given me the best book first, sorry about that. I was just getting warmed up.
Joe Bach says, how close to getting doctors in Buffalo, New York, or Western New York?
Yeah, Joe. We actually talked to a guy near Buffalo, and I think it's fizzling out. A lot of doctors do. They don't understand the concept of what we're trying to offer, and so it's hard. If it was easy, we'd have doctors on every corner already, but we're working our butt off to get more doctors, including in upstate New York.
Okay, so Joe, you don't have to pay any one of us, especially Chris.
Oh God, no, we're free.
To talk to him about your injury. So what you need to do is either Facebook message Chris Helms on his personal page, or you can just go right above on the messenger and put your number, or email Chris at chris@federalinjurycenters.com and put your phone number, and he'll reach out to you. But you don't have to pay, so don't think you have to pay.
And I appreciate you asking that question, so I can tell everybody this is a free page. This is a free service. We get asked all the time, yeah, well, what's in it for you? Well, look, we have ownership interest in the franchise company, Federal Injury Centers, where we collect royalties and billing fees and those things. But that's why we're not a referral service, because that would be fraudulent. You go where you want to go. Choose your own doctor. If it happens to be us, we appreciate it. But we do this for free. This is a public service to you, because without you knowing the information, you're just getting hosed. And I know how to stop that. And so that's why I'm doing everything I'm doing to prevent you from getting hurt by a system that's way more painful than the injury.
Nick said, noticing a trend here in Wisconsin with the supervisors. Yep, it's not just Wisconsin, Nick. It is nationwide. With
it
every
is, but
agency.
Man, those guys in Racine, they have special problems with case managers and
Steve said, does filing a CA1 or 2 via eComp get a claim number quicker than having management submit it?
No.
Or is there something the post office has to do as well before getting a number either way?
So the Code of Federal Regulations says that supervisors have 10 days to turn it in. You have to report to the supervisor, okay? And if you have a CA1 or a CA2, page 1 is for you, page 2 is for management. There's a receipt they have to give you, and then they have 10 days from the date of that receipt to turn it into the Department of Labor. So you can e-comp it. That's why I tell people to keep copies, and you have a legal right to get copies of everything. And if your supervisor doesn't send it in, you can, but it's their job by rule to send it in within 10 days of the notice of receipt.
Yeah. And Tish said, that's why y'all are awesome.
That's why you're awesome, Tish.
Oh, because you two are so funny. Tish, we miss you.
So Tish is the president in Florida of the VA for AFGE.
State president.
Yeah, and she is a powerhouse. If she's on and telling you to do something, go ahead and do what she says, because I would.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with her.
She's a bad woman.
In a good way.
Love you, Tish.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, we got 10 more minutes on here.
No, I forget it. Let's just cut it off early.
You're such a goof. So don't forget to share this with anybody that wasn't on. And we know we're going to get a small amount of views during this season, only because, again, everybody's working.
She means during the Christmas season.
I mean, like, again, we heard this guy who was talking to us. He's working 14 to 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Doing mail. And those of you
I
that
struggle
are,
with 14 minutes. I don't know how you do it.
and those of you that are not federal employees and that are just watching to support us,
Welcome.
be nice to your federal folks this holiday season.
When the mailman and mail lady comes, give them a bottle of water or something.
hot chocolate.
Christmas present.
What is that thing I read yesterday? A hot toddy? Tootie? Or what?
Don't give your letter carrier a hot toddy.
Hot toddy.
They gotta work. Don't do that.
And keep your porch lights on. I know I posted something on several pages that, I just want family and friends to see. Keep your porch lights on because it's dangerous, especially when it's snowing and you can't see the ice.
Yeah, and you know what? We had a lady, speaking of North Carolina, we had a lady who was delivering the mail when the sun was going down. And she got out of her vehicle. You know the ditch from the road to the yard, We always called it a ditch when I was growing up. I'm from the country. Everything was a ditch. By the way, we could also hunt crawfish in the little holes in our
the
ditch.
Okay.
We'd just stick our hands down the holes, and we'd sell them to the guys in the neighborhood to go fishing.
Is that how you made your money?
Yeah. Well, this particular hole in the ditch was much bigger than a crawfish hole because this lady stepped out and stepped into the hole that was in the ditch. And it was because she couldn't see, right? So she twisted her knee and ankle. She called her supervisor right away, and she said, supervisor, I stepped in the ditch and twisted my ankle. And, or I stepped in a hole and twisted my ankle and my knee. And the supervisor said, okay, you did the right thing. You called us right away. Come on back and let's fill out your forms. So she gets back, and she starts filling out her CA1 form. And in box 14, it asks you to describe your injury, and she said, I stepped in a ditch and twisted my ankle and knee. And on the second page of the form, the supervisor's question, one of the questions is, does a statement by the employee match up with your understanding of how the injury happened? That's not word for word, but I'm a little out of practice with COVID. Anyways, the supervisor said, no, the statement of the employee does not match my understanding. And it says, well, if no, explain. And the guy said, well, she called and said she stepped in a hole. But on here, she wrote she stepped in a ditch. So I'm not sure what happened.
These people.
So the doctor calls me up and says, Chris, what the hell is this crap? The supervisor, they seem to always be trying to hose claims. This is what they said. They said the person stepped in a hole, and they said ditch, or stepped in a ditch, said hole, whatever it was. And I said, okay, doc, here's what you write in your narrative report. Make a bold heading that said, the hole was in the ditch, you idiot. And so he did. And so he wrote a narrative report with a section called The Hole Was in the Ditch, You Idiot. That was the title of that paragraph. And in that, he said, she stepped in a hole that was in the ditch, you idiot. And so the claim got approved. Anyways, turn your lights on so they don't step in the holes that are in your ditch. For those of you that have to report your injuries, you should get copies of everything so your doctor can see what the supervisor says. And don't delay, because your CA-16s are valuable and your COP is valuable. So don't delay. Report right away.
Teresa Hamilton, you said, is this something new? So I'm Gini. This is my husband, Chris. We've
been doing this for like 3 years now.
I think 4. It's 4 now. Yeah. So we come on here and we educate federal employees nationwide, all agencies around the United States.
All the unions, all the agencies, if
Puerto
it's
Rico.
federal. Right.
Anybody with USPS, AFGE, and the list goes on and on.
VA employees, TSA employees, Social Security, IRS.
FBI,
Stop taxing me.
Border Patrol.
All federal employees.
Prison, Social Security. So,
the rules are the same regardless of where you work, and they're the same in every state.
Yeah.
And we're teaching you what to do when you get hurt at work. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
Oh, Liz. Who's Liz? Tish said love you guys too. I went to say love and Tish and I got Liz.
Love you, Tish.
All right.
Melissa, thank you.
Melissa, thank you.
Yeah.
Madeline said, because I was denied my claim, do I have to pay the doctor's bills?
Well, I mean, that's a deal between you and your doctor. If you came to Federal Injury Centers, the answer would be no, you never pay us out of your pocket. Some doctors will charge you. They'll want to use your health insurance or charge you cash. If you do that, keep receipts and keep an OWCP 915 log to account for all your personal expenses. And you can get that back when you get your claim accepted.
Yeah.
Assuming it gets accepted.
Ruth Crandall says, yes, I have a supervisor that says I didn't get hurt at work. Where do they
Yeah, so I got it.
comment from?
Yeah, so the deal is the supervisor doesn't have a medical license and doesn't really know anything about how you got hurt. You tell the truth, so it's legitimate. You file it timely within 3 years. And then your doctor writes a narrative report, and that narrative report will hold all the weight. Your supervisor's comments will have no weight. The doctor's comments will have all the weight. Don't worry about what the supervisor says.
Yeah.
Just be sure your doctor has a copy of everything.
Okay, so Chris and I are waiting for virtual ugly sweater parties to attend with you guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get this going. I mean, I think I'm going to host one probably with all the federal folks.
I will definitely have the ugliest. I think my Christmas sweater is going to be black. That's how ugly. I'm just going to make black. There's not going to be any red or green or pretty Rudolphs.
That's not an ugly sweater.
Oh, it's just my normal everyday sweatshirt.
So we might have a
okay,
virtual
I'll
ugly sweater party for you guys.
We should. We should do it on Zoom or something.
Yeah, it'll have to be on Zoom because.
So get a Zoom account.
Can the doctor be paid?
Can doctor be a PhD? Medical doctor or DO, which is an osteopathic doctor, has to sign off on all reports.
Yeah.
MD or DO.
So with that said, everybody, these numbers, Chris always says there's 2.8 million federal employees, and we only have 37 people watching. So I'm hoping by come January, there's at least 2 million people watching.
Yeah, so can you just share this? This is what we needed you to do. And it's a small thing to ask, but hit the follow and like button on this page. Just follow and like. Go ahead and do that. And then hit the share button and just share it with your news feed. Inevitably, you definitely have somebody in your news feed that's a coworker that's also a federal employee. So share this, and then go back to work and post something in your break room and let people know this is happening. It's every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 Mountain. So
here's what you do. You go on our Wednesday night OWCP Chats page, print that top cover photo, and say, if you're injured, watch them.
And then get a thumbtack and post on the bulletin board in your break room. The break room belongs to you. You can post anything you want. If someone takes it down, put it back up. Take it down, put it up. Take it down, put it up. Never let anybody take it down. This is too important. Those of you that are watching, that watch every week, you see this is free training. It's valuable. It's information you didn't have before, and we're going to keep bringing it to you every week. So keep bringing your coworkers to us, and we'll keep training them for free.
Yeah.
No strings attached.
We probably won't be on the last 2 weeks of December, as it's Christmas. We'll be out of town. It's also New Year's.
But next week, let's do a Zoom, and let's have a whole bunch of people on.
We're going to have an
virtual
ugly sweater party. Get your drinks, get your questions ready. So we're going to do Q&A virtual ugly sweater party with you guys.
Yeah, so we'll be live on Facebook, but we'll also have Zoom up, so you'll see us in 2 different places. We'll make it happen next week.
We're going to try to get some of our Federal Injury Centers doctors on. We'll see if Attorney Eric Blowers comes on, and you guys just shoot your questions away. I'll be here reading them all.
Gosh, if Eric's on, I don't have to talk at all.
I know, right?
Nobody cares what I have to say when Eric's on.
So pay attention to the link and everything down below. We're just going to do Zoom just for fun and have a little holiday festivities with all of our federal friends.
We actually really love you.
Yeah, I know. So we're just going to do this.
So getting on live would be great. I hope many of you that are friends with us already that will be on, and those of you that we haven't met, I'm really looking forward to meeting you next week. So in our Wednesday night OWCP Chats news feed, you will put the Zoom meeting information.
I'll put the Zoom meeting ID. I'll create it. Invite your friends. Invite other coworkers. print it out, give it to anybody that wants to watch. It'll be fun. So next week will be Q&A virtual ugly sweater Wednesday night chats with Chris and Gini.
Yeah,
I have
and
to think about that.
Cynthia, Jax, Hudgens, we're very thankful for you as well.
How do we get union reps out of the bed with management?
Whoa,
We don't
that's a
discuss
different
that.
topic.
Yeah, you guys need to bring that up
Talk
with
to
your
your-
national.
Talk to your union leadership.
That's something we don't touch because we don't know and we don't want to know.
Well, I mean, I do want to know. I want union people to stop being in bed with management, but that almost never happens, thankfully. Like, if it's happening for you, it seems like it's prevalent for you, but nationwide, that's not really common. When it is, typically the presidents, and especially the national presidents, want to put a stop to that. So let somebody know.
Yeah. Tresta said, thank you guys for everything. You guys are awesome. Angela said, thank you guys for this invaluable information. These on-the-job injuries are traumatizing
They
and
are.
changes
We know.
your whole world.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
We know.
We don't want to see anything bad happening to people by the end of the year.
Yeah, and so like I said, my second book is called Breaking OWCP Volume 2. This is Volume 1. Somebody said, hey, it really sounds like you're selling whatever. Like, you guys need the book, so get it or don't get it. But Volume 2 is You're Not Alone, because you're not. And, you know, I felt in my heart that that was the subtitle to the book, because I'm with you. If nobody else is, we're with you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. Any of you can call us at any time. You can email us at any time. You can Facebook message at any time with any problem. And if we're able to help, we will do it for free. You're not alone.
Yeah. Steve, you said I've been sharing it in our local
Thank you, Steve.
NALC Facebook group. I see a few people watching. That's awesome.
you,
Kim
Steve.
Tucker said, I had a rotator cuff repair in 2013 paid by Workman's Comp. Was reverse shoulder replacement due to a failed repair documented by the doctor and now denied. What do I do?
The doctor's got to do a better job of documenting the diagnosed condition so that it will be accepted. Once that's done, they'll pay for the surgery. You won't have to.
Yeah. So, is anybody interested in, doing our Q&A virtual ugly Christmas sweater Zoom party next week? Let me see.
If you are,
some
hit all the love
likes,
buttons.
loves, and
Well,
everything.
we're going to do it anyways because it sounds fun.
Yeah, we just like to have fun. We really have fun when we're with our federal friends. It doesn't matter what part of the country we're in.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. We make new friends, and it's exciting. Oh, look, all the hearts are coming in. Awesome.
People are like, Chris, there's no way you do this just out of the goodness of your heart.
He
You're
does.
right. No, I don't.
Okay, now that we're done, swipe your credit card. $15.99.
Many of you. I see your
Everybody wants
names.
to come.
I see your names
Awesome.
coming up, and I'm friends with you. I love you guys. I feel really blessed that I get to help you.
Yeah.
This is a good life for me that I get to help you.
It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a national, you're a local union president.
You can be in
you're a
Alaska, Hawaii, or
steward.
Puerto Rico. I'm
It doesn't
coming to
matter.
you.
We want all of you to come on. We want to see your cool sweaters and just have some fun next week. So again, next week will be Q&A, virtual ugly sweater party on Zoom with us. We won't be on Facebook.
No, we'll
Are we
still
gonna
be.
do
We're going to stream
Facebook?
live, but we're going
Okay.
to be talking to Zoom.
So.
Yeah, we'll be live streaming.
Oh, and so I'm going to try to get some doctors that we have, and let's see if Eric can get on as well for a little bit. You can come and go throughout the hour. We might extend it a little longer, but we'll come and go with the doctors and attorney, and
If I'm having a lot of
All
fun, we'll
that.
probably just stick around.
we'll get Jennifer on. Hopefully Tom can pop on, and Joe and
Yeah.
Emmy, so you guys can get to see everybody that works behind the scenes with us. So
We'll have a good time.
yep. With that said, guys, thank you for watching. We know that it's a limited amount of views, but we understand that people are working
Yeah.
overtime and everything. So please share this if you're just a regular.
And turn your lights on, people.
Yeah, if you're just a regular person, just help your mailman. All your federal friends, tell them about us. If you see them hurt, let them know that they have somewhere that they can turn to, that people that really care about them. That's what we're here to do. And so, everyone, have a great night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys in next Wednesday for our virtual ugly sweater Q&A Christmas chat. Bye.
Be ready.